I had a friend ask me about the beginning of the year and how I set my goals. How do I determine what really needs to be pursued and what needs to take a back seat? Well, I actually start with the negative instead of the positive. And that means that number one, we've got too much that we're trying to do, too much we're trying to accomplish instead of really simplifying. And because of that, we make it too complicated. We will create these plans that cover every single facet of life. And for some reason, we feel that if I have made this feel like work, it means that I'm going to actually accomplish it. And that's not necessarily true. And then third, it's too disconnected. Instead of us having a theme for the year or a focus of the physical, the professional, the spiritual, all somewhat linked, we tend to set goals that aren't related to each other at all. So what we need to do is move from that too much and too complicated and too disconnected to being very clear, knowing exactly what it is that we want to accomplish and why we want to accomplish that. So that means there's going to be a couple of shifts. We need to shift from much to only what is needed. And we need to shift from the complicated to the concise. You see, there's three problems when it comes to setting our goals and getting our resolutions in place. First of all, desire versus drive. On one side, we desire things, we want things, we wish for things. But on the opposite side, there's got to be the drive, there's got to be that discipline that allows those desires to become realities. And the truth is that if we've got desire without drive, we're never going to accomplish the goal. It's often been said that those who are self-disciplined do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether they want to or not, and that's drive. Secondly, perfection versus precision. You would think that you want to do everything right, but what we tend to do is plan in perfection. We think that I'm going to start at point A, I'm going to go to point B, and there's going to be an uninterrupted process so that I'm able to actually achieve what I want. Instead, there needs to be precision. What do I need to do today? And then after today, I'm going to evaluate the steps that I took, and then I'm going to adjust for tomorrow so that I stay on a precise path, even if it's shifting day to day. When I think in perfection, I'm going to start at A and end up at B without any interruptions. I'm going to fail because there's always interruptions. There's always mess ups. There's always mistakes. But precision allows me to do the best I can today, make adjustments, and then do the best I can tomorrow. And then finally, pleasing methods versus pleasing results. The person that actually invented this concept said it this way: that successful people are focused on pleasing results. The unsuccessful are focused on pleasing methods, which means something along the lines of, if I wanted to lose weight, I'll do anything that I need to in order to reach that goal, whether it's comfortable or not, whether it feels good or not. Whereas the failure would say, I want to lose weight, but I also want to eat what I want, when I want, and I also want to do exercises that feel really good to me. Well, the chances are very high that if that's the focus, that pleasing method, that you're not going to get the result that you really want. But I remember back in the early 90s, back in the 1900s, when I would drink protein powder that tasted like chalk because I wanted that result. So we want to elevate the pleasing results over the pleasing methods. So here are the principles, and there's three of these as well. So as we get past the problems, we enter the principles, and there are three. Number one, we want to begin with information. We want to gain as much knowledge as possible so that we know what we're pursuing. Not simply, I want to do X, but I understand what it takes to reach X. I'm notorious for getting almost OCD with any new author that I like. I remember the first time I ever read a John Grisham book, and I know most people have been reading him for years, maybe decades, and I read my first book, but then I needed to read all the books. Then I got into the Jack Reacher series. I read all the books, right? We need to do the same thing when it comes to reaching a particular goal. We need to get in and study and read all the books and gain the information. But then the second step is critical, and that's installation. How do I take this information and apply it directly to me, to who I am, the way that I'm wired, the way that I process, the way that my mind works, the way that my body works, and I'm going to install it. So based on my height and my weight, and even my ability and my physical makeup, I am not going to be a marathon runner ever. I'm just not gonna. Now I can lift things. That worked out real well for my frame and structure, but I'm not gonna be an endurance athlete. So knowing that, I take my information and I install it based on my personal wiring, my personal makeup. And this is the step that most people skip. They'll buy a program, they'll buy a process, and they'll try to do it without making any adjustments at all. You know, if I was to get a marathon runner's program, let's say that I was actually going to run a marathon, and this person was 6 foot tall and weighed 145, and I followed their program being 5'6", actually 5.5, and weighing 200, it's not going to work, is it? Right? I can't do their program. I've got to look at who I am and what I am and install it in a way that's going to benefit me the best. And as I implement, now I'm going to do that based, again, on that installation, and I'm going to implement it in a way to get the best results. Instead of simply following something blindly, I'm going to follow it very specifically, and I'm going to implement it on the schedule that's needed. So what is the process? If I'm going to do information and installation and implementation, if I'm going to choose pleasing results over pleasing methods, if I'm going to focus on precision rather than perfection, if drive is critical and more critical than simply desire, how do I decide on what I'm going to do? I look at it as majors and minors. The majors are the things that I feel like are really big and need to be accomplished in this year. So I'll list everything. List everything that I want to achieve, and you need to list everything that you want to achieve. Then weigh it from 1 to 10 on the must scale. And that means at the end of the year, if this thing did not happen, how disappointed are you? How much are other people in your life dependent on this thing coming about? So you weigh it 1 to 10. I've got 7 things that I listed that I wanted to achieve this year. But based on the must scale, I take the top 3. And those become my majors. Now, once the majors are decided, you turn those into milestones. These are the actual levels that you want to reach. And you measure it against 5 factors: knowledge, skill, time required, experience, and effort. Knowledge, how much do you already know about what you're wanting to accomplish? Skill, what is your current ability to attain your goal compared to what you need to gain skill-wise to arrive at your goal? Time required, how long will this take? Can you do it in a week? Will it take 6 months? Will it take the full year? Experience, have you done this before? Can you rely on the past to propel your future? Effort needed, just how much sweat will this take? So with each milestone, rate each of the factors. 1 stone equals easy. 5 stones equals I might die in the process. So here's an example. Let's say the goal is to eat bacon. Knowledge, I'm a 1. Skill, 1. Time required, 1. Experience, 1. Effort needed, 1. Overall difficulty, 1 stone. I have mastered bacon eating. On the opposite side, running a half marathon. Knowledge, about a 4. I understand what it takes. I've read plenty of books on it. Skill level, I'd say a 3. Now, I'm never going to actually be in a race, but I can finish. I've got the skill to finish. Time required, a 2. Doesn't take a ton of time to get in good enough shape to finish. And then experience, I've got a 4. I've run a half marathon before. And effort needed, it's a 4. It's pretty difficult. Even though I've got the experience of having run one, I don't have great experience. And the effort needed, it's tough. So the overall difficulty rating, 3.5 stones. The reason this is critical is that often we set goals and we will even make a plan, but we won't think about how hard this is going to be, how difficult this is going to be. This creates the perspective of the priority, the major, that we're going to pursue. So that's how we figure out our major and how we create our milestones. Then the minors, everything else that's left over. What do we do with that? I try to make this really simple. I create a daily activity that I want to do, and I want it to become a habit. Now, whether or not you believe habits take 21 days or take 84 days or take 90 days, it really doesn't matter. I want this to be methodical, because the truth is you can decide today to begin a process tomorrow that's going to be in play every single day of this quarter or this year or for your life. It becomes methodical. It's not a major. You don't have to weigh it against everything out there. You don't have to put it through all of these strides of knowledge, skill, time required, experience, and effort needed. You don't have to keep a journal. You don't have to measure it. All you need to do is do it daily. So how's this play out? The major may be, I want to run the half marathon. And the minor may be, I need to eat better. And I'm going to do that every single day. And I'm going to make it a habit. And it's something that I do methodically. So there's a quick overall view of the process. If you want further training, if you want to take this deeper, go to launchyouryear.com.